My name is Brad Seymour. I'm a second-year video game art and animation student at Holland College. I worked on Comix last year, and I created the character Nightshade, and this year I plan to do something a little bit different. I've only got one page this year, so it's a little bit stressful because of that. This year I have like a fantasy scene, so it's just kind of like a guy and a dragon in a forest. So,
what advice would you give to students going into it?
Going in, I would say plan ahead. Even like right down to inking, because last year I kind of flip-flopped between whether I was going to do it with traditional ink or where I was going to do it on a computer in Photoshop, and it ended up putting me right to the deadline because I waited last minute to decide to do it traditional.
Where are you at right now with your comic?
I've got my page completely penciled, so yeah, I kind of hit the ground running. So got that done, so I just have to ink it. I think that's not due until the end of the month, so I'm kind of ahead of the curve right now. And after we finished the meeting, it kind of worked out. Like I had 2 or 3 different ideas in my head already, so I drew them up really roughly in Photoshop, and I kind of picked the best one. And then I just went ahead with that. Knowing what I have to do for projects, I just like got it done, get it out of the way.
Reaction last year when, like, before you did all the work, but you found out you were going to have 4 pages.
4 pages, I was like, okay, I don't know if I can tell a story in 4 pages. So yeah, it was kind of like, it was tough that way, but at the same time, with like workload and stuff, I'm glad it was only 4 pages. I can't believe I was pushing for 6 pages this year, so, and I only got 1 because that's all I could, between school work and other things, that's all I had time for.
What made you want to join this project again?
It was fun last year. I knew by the email when it came out that there was going to be more people involved, so I thought that was going to be interesting.
What kind of skills in video game cross over to comic books?
For video game, it would be, we do kind of both work with the same subject matter, like dragons and forests and fantasy and fighters, big buff dudes wielding swords and fighting monsters and stuff like that. Like that's kind of like a big genre in video games. Other than that, like the more technical skills like layout and design, like having to like just concept out a character or 2 characters or an environment and then kind of put that into place so that it hopefully tells the stories.
What are you most excited for this time around?
I'm excited to see what everybody else's work is like, because like last year there was only 6 of us, right? So there was a lot of back and forth and talk, and we got to see what other people are working on. But this year, because there's 14 people, like you might not necessarily get to see what everybody is working on until you get that final book in your hands. So I think that part's kind of exciting, knowing that you're all working on the same project, and at the end of it, you don't know what it's gonna look like. Like me, I know that I wanna do comic books and I know what's involved with having to make one, but somebody who may not necessarily know exactly what has to go into the process to make it, like it gives people like that a chance to like test it out and see if it's something that they like. So.